This is the Woodbridge Conservation Commission, a regular meeting. It's Thursday, February 5th, and 2026. And the first order on our agenda is approval of minutes. So have people had a chance to look at the minutes? Does anyone have any questions about the minutes?
So I have one small correction, although Kathy's not here. In the list of what meetings we're covering, she uses the word attending. So, I think there's probably a better word like reviewing or covering or something, because we
Covering, I
specifically
think,
said
is-
we're not going to be attending. Well, we don't necessarily have to. So
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Covering,
So
I
we'll
think,
ask
is a
her-
good-
She'll look at this
Yeah.
tape and so do you have a recommendation that she can put in just that we're, Covering.
covering, yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's
so
a good
that's
one.
what we recommend?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Should somebody be taking minutes?
she'll watch the,
Okay.
she'll watch the video. That's what she told me.
Okay.
So with that, does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes
Okay, and-
of January 8th,
And
2026.
approve it? Let me second it? Okay, all in favor? Unanimous? Okay. And now public comment, and it looks like we may have some public comment. How exciting.
Exciting.
So you sign in and you tell us your name and where you live. Okay?
You can just pull chairs right up to that table.
Yeah.
I'm Helen. I'm Juliet. Oh.
Oh yeah, there's a microphone that, so it's being recorded so people can hear you.
How about we both give you a chair?
There we go.
Have a seat.
Stick with chairs.
And it's just us, so nothing to be nervous about. You girls are going to do great. Thank you.
And they need to sign something.
We like bats.
I'm Helen. I'm Juliet. And we live in Woodbridge. And
Can you just tell us where in Woodbridge? Do you know your address?
I live at 1189 Chelmsford Road, Woodbridge, CT 06525.
Okay.
I live at 33 Spoke Drive.
Great.
Okay. We're Troop 67884 is a junior Girl Scout troop made up of 5th graders from Beecher Road School. The troop was established in 2020 and we have 13 girls and 3 leaders. We have participated in the community by participating in Woodbridge Like Me Day, cleaning up Fitzgerald Track, and writing to residents of local assisted living facilities. The Bronze Award is the highest award that a troop can receive as a junior Girl Scout, 4th or 5th grader. In order to obtain the Bronze Award, the troop must work together to complete a sustainable project that has a positive impact on their community. The girls work together to brainstorm project ideas, make a plan, and execute the project.
Our troop's main focus for this school year is the Bronze Award. We have researched and voted on various projects that we have felt would make a lasting impact on Woodbridge. In December, we voted on creating bat boxes to attract bats back to the area. We have been researching and learning about all different types of bat boxes, and we have been learning from a lot of research of Bat Conversation International. We have reached out to the organization as well as Ansonia Nature Center and the First Selectman. This winter and spring, we will source materials and create and install bat boxes in small groups. We will also create educational materials to show others how to create bat boxes and why bats/bat boxes are helpful to our community. We appreciate your support or guidance if you can offer us. Thank you.
Nice job.
Okay.
Can we ask you a question? Do you have an idea of where you want to put these bat boxes?
Probably parks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that is sort of where we're looking for guidance for
Yeah.
location. That's one of the things that we don't quite know yet. So the girls have decided they want to do this. So unanimous vote, I think, in the end, to do bat boxes as their Bronze Award project.
Yeah.
But that is one of the things we're hoping to get more information on, is where in town it might be a good place to put them, so that, people can see them, and there will be an educational piece, like Juliet said.
One more quick question. You mentioned you talked to the first selectman
They are talking to them next week.
next week. Okay. So fill us in on how that conversation goes, and if he gives you his green light, and then we can definitely give you our 2 cents too. Right?
They've already spoken with him via email, right, Juliet? Your group wrote to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, did he seem pretty positive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, how did you guys decide that bat boxes are the best thing to do? I mean, I love your decision. I'm just curious how you guys got there.
We researched in small groups, so we had ideas for the project, and then in small groups we researched our ideas, and everyone got to vote on which idea had the best information and how it would help our community, and we voted bat boxes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Each
Very
of us
nice.
did a separate slideshow or poster, and yeah, we voted and we chose bat boxes.
That's really great. So one thing I was thinking of, it sounds like there's an Eagle Scout initiative also to do bat boxes. So we have been working with a bat biologist from Deep, and she kind of knows the area. She's done some studies here. So, I mean, maybe that's something that we could reach out to her and just kind of give us some guidance from a landscape scale, like, you know, where should we put the boxes? How many of them should there be? Or do you guys have an idea of how many you want to build?
Well, we're working in small groups, and I think each
At least 13.
At least 13.
13. And yeah. Yeah, there's 2 different styles. Rocket box and
Regular.
yeah, like traditional.
Okay.
Maybe we can give you the name of the person who,
Yeah, we can try and just connect you with her directly,
Okay.
which would probably be really helpful. And then maybe she could help us kind of coordinate, you know, the bat box placement throughout town. That might be a good way to go.
Thanks.
yeah, that's exciting.
Very exciting, yes.
I love that project.
So, do you think they should come back and hear from us again, or do you think we should just give them this information, and do we want to, you know, in a month or two, should we?
Yeah, I
Get a
mean, maybe if I
follow-up?
could get an email address at some point, and then I can just, I think.
I'll share that with you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, and then we can just sort of coordinate that way. Yeah, was there anything else you guys, any questions, other questions you had for us, or anything else we can help you with?
Good job.
It's long, yeah, really good job. And it might be a little too long to read, but on the Conservation Commission's website, Ben has posted a bat study. If it's helpful to you as a resource with your grown-ups, I think it might not be a bad idea to go through it, and kind of gives you the lay of the land on what's what in Woodbridge and what you could potentially have as far as the species, right?
It talks about what different kind of bats that have been seen and heard in Woodbridge, so it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Nice job, we're here to help.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great job.
Any other public comment? Okay, all right. What's happening is hey Val, welcome. What's happening is the next item on our agenda. I have a few things, and I bet other people have some other things. The first one is that there is a inland wetlands hearing for the Beecher Road property Wednesday night, the 18th, and their meeting's usually at 7:30, and it's going to be in the town auditorium. So I think there'll be a lot of people attending, and it will be an interesting meeting. Yeah, the gym, I mean, that's what I meant, the gym, yes.
Center.
Not my auditorium. And I know from a friend that in the library, not this Saturday, but March 21st, there's a lecture about indigenous somebody,
Yes, I think it's February 21st.
Oh, okay, February 21st.
Indigenous what?
Yep, the woman who's the clan mother of the Golden Pawcaset tribe is going to come and tell everyone about what it was like in Woodbridge back in the day, before Woodbridge was Woodbridge, and when the Gussets were around this land, and sort of just tie it to our area in particular, because obviously they were in a much broader area as well. So she's going to lecture on that, yeah.
And do we know, it's on Saturday, and I don't know what time it is.
I think it is, I should have this in my head. I'm on the education committee. I should know.
Well, people can look it up on the Masara website.
Yeah, and it's also should be on the libraries. We're going to be in the
I
library.
can send it out to everybody.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was happening.
And on February 14th in the library, there's going to be a lecture and a presentation on composting at the library, and I'm not sure the time of that either. And then that brings us to, does anyone else have any happening things that
I
might be
think-
worth telling people about?
I think mine's got to do with Earth Day.
Yours has got to do with Earth Day. So now we're going to talk about Earth Day.
Right.
So Earth Day is April 25th, I think, on a Saturday. And, well, let me just say a few things first, and then
Yeah.
we can. So typically what we've done is we've had a booth, a table, that we've had different people, 2 people at a time hosting, and we've bought small trees to hand out. Our past member Diana is willing to help me purchase some things, and we could possibly use that budget, or I'm willing to donate some of those funds. But we did trees before, and I was thinking that maybe we should do trees and some shrubs. I don't know how successful the trees have been. I kind of think that a shrub is a little easier to place maybe, and maybe a native pollinator shrub could be, some of the variety that we choose, and that's open for discussion. So I guess
What did we have last time? It was like a small tree, a medium tree, and a large tree or something?
3 different types of trees, and they were different sizes, but it was,
Yeah.
they were both about 2-year-old, all about 2-year-old trees. And that seemed, people enjoyed them a lot. So I guess before we leave tonight, I'd like to see if, we have to register for a table. So if we want to register for a table, if we have a general idea if we're going to be around, and if we can contribute some hours, and what our preference is for what we share with the public.
Okay, to add to that, I received an email from Hillary, who is the head of it, and they would like to have the Historical Society and the Conservation Commission together figure out some kind of program with walks or hikes or whatever to some of the QR sites. I have spoken with the Historical Society, and there are 2 people on our board who are very willing to meet with however number of us, so we don't have to deal it as committee of the whole and figure out a program that we do. They were thinking, Hillary was thinking something like maybe having a hike the day of Earth Day, or visiting a site or 2, since the sites are spread all over town. You can't get to all of them.
Right.
And I thought possibly of combining the announcement of the patch program at that same time. So I don't know who would like to be a part of that discussion, but I know there are 2 people on our board who would be perfectly happy to talk it over with a couple of people from here and come up with a program.
Okay.
If we are willing to do it.
And there's one other thing you reminded me of. When I spoke to Diana, she talked about that Red Litter Day is also going to be that day, which I think is the best thing that happens is that we get rid of the litter in our community.
Oh, really?
And I would love to help facilitate that. I thought of talking to the garden club about maybe they could mobilize a little bit and get some of their families to mobilize, but people are requested to indicate what territory they're going to do so that the Public Works can pick up some of the litter, or all the litter. So maybe between now and then, we can all figure out if we want to take on a street or two, or encourage others to. So what other thoughts do
What,
people have?
what does everybody think about?
So on the trees, shrubs, I love the idea of pivoting. Trees are an investment in a property, and so I think having trees every year is a lot. Likely the people who took trees last year, unless those trees have died,
Right.
probably aren't interested in more trees. And so I think having something different makes a lot of sense.
So could we do like a tree option and a shrub option or something? You know, because we had different options last time.
We could.
Yeah, because I'm in the camp of I got a tree, but it died. so it.
My tree's still going strong.
I'm in
Yeah.
a camp of I don't know whether it's alive or dead at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think shrubs, not that I have that much knowledge, but I think are a little easier to
Keep alive.
keep alive than trees. Trees need more specific environments, and maybe if we do this, we should be a little more educational in terms of the environment that this should be in, which well, is just a little more effort, but it might be worthwhile. But yeah, let's have a little combination. And Ben, why don't you pick, if we should get you the website and you can choose the tree. I know there's azaleas and hydrangeas available, but and I was going to meet with Diana this weekend and choose some. So if people have input as to something they'd like, I'm not sure of the website she's used, but it's been pretty effective. But we have to order now for it to for them to be here when we want them.
So in thinking of things like winter berries or service berries that have both kind of pollinator and bird biodiversity support.
Okay, I think that's great. Yeah.
That would be my vote.
Okay.
And I love the idea of hosting hikes, and I would be happy to be involved in that.
I would also be happy to be involved, except I won't be here on Earth Day. I'll be doing the Rock to Rock Earth Day ride in New Haven. So, but happy to help with the hikes and do one on Earth Day as well.
Well, that's another option, is to do one on Saturday and one on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, two
Or they
different
could
sets.
be the next week. I mean, it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be right there.
My husband does that too every year.
You know, it's
Okay.
just setting up and being able to announce it at both of the tables and all that
Well,
kind
and
of
also
stuff.
announce it beforehand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
I'd like
so
to be involved with that program with the patch and the historical
Okay.
society, so not program for that.
so maybe the four of you guys could do a little brainstorming around it.
yeah, I'll mention the two people that are interested are from a society probably none of you know, a man by the name of John Zuccardi. He's just moved to Bethany. He's on our board, and also Joanna Keelock,
Those are the two people willing to do it.
wanting to meet with
Okay.
any of us and then organize
And
whatever.
maybe you and I should put some input into what signs might be, we know how easy they are to get
Yeah.
to, because some of them are easier and more obvious than others.
And, yeah, and
So-
some of them are fairly close together, and others are like,
Yeah,
so, sorry.
so,
State
good job.
representative to come down and say a few words.
Say it again?
Could we possibly get somebody from the state to come down and say a few words that this came from a grant?
Sure,
We can try.
go
yeah.
for it, Val.
I like programs. And then maybe we could have some music, some songs. Or if the Boy Scouts could sing a song. I was a music teacher, so maybe someone could do a song, and like a whole program of.
And when would this be?
I don't know. We'll talk about it, Barbara.
Yeah,
We can do it.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll have an open mic at our table.
Okay. Yeah. And I think maybe next month we can talk about our table a little bit, and what else we want on it. I mean, often people have candy, maybe we could do something like healthier or something, some fruit or something.
Yeah, one thing we discussed, I remember last year, is kind of trying to have a theme, you know, like if we're trying to get some sort of message out. I think in the past we've kind of tried to do a lot of things, but a lot of times the message was sort of lost.
People are
in-
just traveling by, going to other tables.
Yeah, so I mean, one idea, and I was talking to Rachel a bit about this, is like highlighting some of the properties, you know, that we have in Woodbridge. So I actually really like your idea of this, like, crown jewels
The
of
crown
Woodbridge.
jewels?
And so, you know, that's just one idea, is we could actually have, you know, like, here's the crown jewels of Woodbridge, and here's what's special
Sweet.
about them, and you know, here's what we do to try to protect them, and that sort of thing. So that, I mean, just an idea, but
It's a great idea, I think. Yeah.
I mean, one that you suggested, of course, is very much protected already, so we might
Well,
pick
that's-
another one. Have three that are not protected, so.
Well,
we
I
can
thought
work on
one
that.
being protected kind of gives the example of how the other ones could be.
Well, that's true too.
That was my thinking. And usually it goes from like 10 to 2 or 9, 8,
I think it's
9.
10 to
It's like
2.
10 to
But I
it's 10
think
to 2.
starting at 9, setting up, so I think there'll be a 9 to 11 and,
Oh, as far as people manning
yeah,
tables.
and 11 to 2 or 8. Usually most of the intensity is the first a couple hours, I think. So, and you can't do that, obviously. Are others of us around? Rachel, you around? Val, you around?
I could be around for some of the time.
Okay.
And
Okay.
obviously I'll spread all over it, but I will.
Okay, all right. Ben? You
yeah,
around?
I should be
Cool.
able to do a
Okay,
shift.
all right. So we'll figure that out next month. And that brings us to, where am I done? Old business. And the first thing on that is report by commissioner members on other commissions' activities. Does anyone have any pertinent?
Well, I can say that the one I should report on is Coopop, and they are meeting as we speak, so I couldn't be in two places at once. They had to delay the last one because of the snow, so I really don't have anything to report other than I do have their agenda for the day, if we wanted to look at it and make any comments
Is there
afterwards.
anything that stands out?
Everything. Just run through it. Property review is still on the Forest Road properties, or we call them the theater properties. 312 Rimmon Road, which actually is we may know it as the Meese property.
Can I speak to the Forest Road property for 1 sec?
Oh, sure.
The theater properties, when we were commissioned before, there was one of those properties that was for sale. And as a commission, we voted that we'd like to use, so we have some funds that haven't been used for at least a decade for use in buying a piece of property, not a huge amount. But we suggested that be used. And I think Paul Harrigan at the time got the sense that Tony had agreed that would be the case, but I think the Board of Selectmen at the very end decided, I'm still trying to ask Tony how this happened, that the Board of Selectmen wanted it out of its funds, so there was no restriction on that property. And that was unbeknownst to us until we've been doing some research, and Nicole asked Tony, and that's what Tony told her. So I'm following up, sending the email that Tony sent to Paul saying that he agreed that it would be restricted, or that was the implication, and where that actually ended up. Does that make sense to people?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I didn't
Okay.
know it happened. But, the Rimmon Road property is a large piece of property that I actually personally know about. It was given by the family named Edward Meese. It backs up onto their remaining property. And it was given for a school. It was given for the town to build a school. And the town decided that, at that time, they decided that Rimmon Road was much too busy and they did not want a school that close to them. So now it is a very large piece of property sitting there, has been empty all this time, and Coopop is trying to make recommendations to the town as to what to do with it.
So we should look at that meeting and see what they think about that.
Yeah. Then they were talking about 805 and 809 Fountain Road, which are, if I remember correctly, are tiny little pieces that nothing much can be done with. 143 Peck Hill, I don't know what it is. Yeah, there are several of these that I don't recall. 143 Peck Hill, 7 Newton Road, 95 Center Road, and 153 Center Road. So we have not made any recommendations on any of those. They are just, and I know from former times that they talk about these properties over the course of several sessions and then finally make their recommendations. They assign, each one of the commission members takes on a property and looks into its background and everything about it and makes a report, and then they talk about it. And they usually talk about it, as I say, several times. So I don't think anything is very eminent as far as decisions, although I don't know.
95? What, 95?
95 Center Road.
That's across from my street.
Yeah, it may be this corner over
Yeah, I
across
think it
from
probably
the
is the
library,
corner.
and it was one of the things that they brought up for possibility for the new police station.
Right.
But I think it was turned down.
It's very wet.
Yeah, it's very, very wet,
Okay.
as was the piece. And 153 is around here somewhere too.
Okay.
They also are talking about Pease Park and the project. They've had several projects that they want to do there at Pease Park. And the feasibility study of town-owned properties for affordable housing, and Coopop's potential role in the 8002 growth plan. I guess somebody was going to talk about the Acorn Hill lights, that they were turned down. And that's the main gist of the meeting that is going on now, and whatever their decisions are.
So, speaking of wet property, I went to the Inlands Wetlands meeting and could report on that. I didn't go to it. I watched the video. It was a long one, and the majority of it was about the 27 Beecher Road proposal. And in the end, the developer's lawyer presented some experts who spoke to the lack of impact on the wetlands that are on and bordering the property. And then I believe it's their interveners, but I think it's the Land Trust and the Park Association are the two interveners.
Not for this property, no.
These are neighbors.
It's Woodbridge neighbors.
Well, there's neighbors, but I think the Land Trust was involved
No,
in
that's
intervening.
802.
No? Okay, so then the neighbors. Anyway, they
Some of the same
They use the
people.
same
They're-
consultants.
okay. There you go. So they put up several consultants who kind of flipped over what the developers consultants had said, to the extent that in the end the decision was made to push out, they didn't make any decision on the property itself from an inland wetlands perspective, but they want to do further research, so that will continue.
Thank you.
And as you mentioned earlier, the next meeting is going to be at the Center Road Building on the
It's the third Wednesday.
third Wednesday, whatever third Wednesday is. Yes. Third Wednesday.
18th.
18th.
So I also reviewed the video, and I thought the interveners' presentations were pretty compelling, and also some of the residents, the public comments, made some really good points. I'm wondering if we want to make some sort of comment as a commission. Do we want to send in a letter? I don't think we don't have the expertise to make a comment about wetlands per se, but we can say something about open space and habitat corridors. So Walden Dillaway made a really good comment about how this is really part of this connected corridor that for a bunch of these watersheds, and we can talk about potential spread of invasive species, and I think one of the wetland scientists from the developer made a comment about there's these wetlands are degraded or something, so they don't matter,
exactly
which
right.
I think that's probably the opposite of what if they're
Yes.
degraded, we should probably fix them. So I don't know if it's appropriate for us to make some sort of
Well,
Can
one
I
of the
make a
things-
comment? Consideration for decision, section 18, it's section 10 from Inland Wetlands, says the agency may consider reports from other agencies and commissions, including but not limited to the Town of Woodbridge Conservation Commission, TPZ, Building Official, and Health Office. We are
Okay,
right up
yeah.
front and
Let's
center
include
to
them
make
in our
it.
letter. You can make a
So-
copy of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would
Let's
agree,
do it.
Ben, with what you're saying. What Walden talked about was really great information. They also mentioned like trees that had been, they had
Well,
somehow had a drone type photo that showed all this tree foliage, et cetera, and then
They're gone.
Ben,
Yeah,
I
all
have a
gone, all
question
down.
about that. You had brought up this property when it was being thought of as for a farm,
Chicken farm.
a chicken farm. And under farming, I don't really remember this exactly, and so I don't know if it's true, but you're allowed to take out trees and do stuff like that, even within the 100-foot review area, because it's a farm. You have some different jurisdictions. And then they switched it to a huge development. Now, was this a premeditated and orchestrated event? And is that not something that undermines their credibility in a significant way? And I think maybe we should do a little research about that. I mean, maybe other people should too, but it seems a little surprising that they, under one permit, they have authorization to do something that was convenient, that would help them with the subsequent permit where they were.
Well, the question is whether they got that permit, the first permit, which gave them authorization. I don't
Right.
think they ever received that.
No, because you always thought a chicken farm, you brought it to our attention, like, this
Yeah.
seems very weird. Why would they have a chicken
Yeah, we
farm?
talked about that.
And we talked about it, and
Yeah.
we didn't quite understand it, and it had been already, I think the wetlands had already
Yeah, we reached out to
permitted.
wetlands, and they had already made the decision.
Right,
It was
so-
all right to,
And it's, for farming, it makes some sense, right? You need to do some stuff, but it's different when you're gonna make it an apartment. And I, did a little research, and just the amount of degradation that happens to an upland area, especially when it's within especially as proposed, it's within 2 or 3 feet of a, huge apartment building, is not truly protection. I mean, there's no way that there isn't gonna be an impact. From my perspective, and having been in the wetlands and having been around construction sites, it's, just the grass that they'll put there is gonna have pesticides and different things on it. But I think one of the things that struck me is that they've done this research at a time when they can't really investigate it fully because they can't investigate whether there's a possibility of a vernal pool. And that has been brought to my attention by other people, and they can't do that until like late March, April, May. And I think as a Conservation Commission, we should maybe bring up the point that
It's a good point,
this is
yeah.
not, I mean, vernal pools are really precious habitats and not reproducible and not transportable. And, you know, so I think maybe we should have some people collaborate and create a letter, and I don't know how, it probably needs to happen by the 18th.
Oh, I think so.
We
Absolutely.
can't wait till the next meeting to review it as a group, so.
And I can bring up another thing which I have not fully figured out, but I do know in their regulations, under the definitions, it talks about clear cutting of trees.
You mean,
In other words, what I have found so far is the definite, clear cutting is used in their regulations, and they give the definition means the harvest of timber in a fashion which removes all trees down to a 2-inch diameter at breast height. So if they have cut the whole place, that's another thing that should be
elucidated.
pointed out, et cetera, et cetera.
So I've got, so far, the points that I heard, so add if I missed some: invasive species, clear cut of trees, habitat corridors, open space, degraded wetlands, vernal pools.
You can add historic preservation too.
Historic.
I think, though, the key things are anything that's inland wetlands, because the rest of it is residents complaining, and
But
inland
once again,
wetlands
what
is what can
inland
make the
wetlands
decision.
is to consider historic
Right,
preservation.
but if inland wetlands then says, okay, we're not approving this, and then the state looks at what the discovery is, the state is only interested in inland wetlands and is not gonna
Well, I think
care
No,
if
but
it's
that's,
historic
what I'm saying
preservation.
is, it is part of inland wetlands regulations to consider historic preservation of historic.
Okay, thank you, yeah.
And, but I do agree with Ann that the more we emphasize that it being a habitat corridor and it being that wetlands don't, you know, naturally want to occur next to a 4-story building, that it doesn't enhance them in any way and degrades them. And we can, you know, enumerate on some of the degradation between, you know, lawn cuttings and fertilizer and runoff. I mean, the amount of runoff in a flash, you know, the first flash of a rain is tremendous and changes the pH of especially a vernal pool probably. So,
And I think your point about assessing the wetlands under 2 feet of snow is valid. That, you know, making a decision based on the current assessment. I wasn't there, so I don't know how long they've been assessing these wetlands.
they did it in like October, I think, or November,
Okay.
which vernal pools aren't
Yeah,
relevant then.
the current line is controversial as well, so I think I don't know if they're gonna ask them to reassess it. That's what the interveners recommended, so we'll see about that. But, so I could try to draft something and then, you know, send it to you guys, and then you guys could help add and improve it, if that makes sense.
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
Yep.
Just one.
Should we
one
vote on
point
it?
I'd like to emphasize, I think your former point about how if you build someplace and you leave the rest empty, it still impacts that empty land.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a line, okay, here we have the environment, and here,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's a very good point that people don't think about at all.
Mm-hmm. Especially at a development as large as this,
Yes.
the impacts are gonna extend well beyond the footprint.
So we should probably have this letter so it can be reproduced and sent to the other members by the 13th? Or 12th?
When is the
possibility?
13th? I will try to have it before that.
Okay, and then we can try to all read
Yeah.
it and give you a quick review within 24 hours of us getting it.
And I'll do it as a Google Doc, so you guys can make edits and stuff. Great.
That is terrific. Oh, should we vote on this? I vote to approve that we plan to do a letter to let Conservation Commission, the Inland Wetlands Commission understand the position we hold about the development of the Beecher Road project at
Concerning
27.
27 Beecher Road,
Concerning wetlands and
concerning our concern about wetlands, or
I'm
involving.
concerned about wetlands and
Okay,
their
let
I'll
me,
just wait. One time. Okay, all set. One page, one time.
okay, I propose that we send a letter to the Inland Wetlands Commission regarding our position on the development of 27 Beecher Road project.
Oh, that's just something. Maybe
Yeah,
send it
we
to
can have
inland
discussion,
wetlands.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not to TPZ.
inland wetlands.
It would go to inland
Yeah.
wetlands.
Yes,
TPZ isn't
Or- or
involved yet
TPZ isn't involved at
in this yet. They might be if it doesn't. Does anyone second it?
I will second.
All in favor? Unanimous? Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Kathy. We're learning.
We got there.
Are any other commission reports? The EDC didn't occur, it's occurring next week. I hope to get there.
I don't believe the housing.
all. Housing is
No,
next.
housing has
I mean,
not
that-
yet
They
met.
haven't met yet. I
Yeah,
think
they
it's the
hadn't met, but I
27th.
did some.
We have this on good information.
I listened to the Board of Selectmen meeting, I think January 14th, which you presented public statement at. There was discussion of the POCD and its continued revision. I don't know if it was a settled conversation, but the impression that I got was that there was going to be kind of continued refinement of that document, with the acknowledgement that it is a living document and that it will never be this is now final moving forward, but that there was just a desire for a third draft.
Cool. Okay, and we're having a work session about that if we can get to it tonight, and so we can have some input. Okay, so we should keep moving. TPZ Commission. I think, Ben, you listened to that meeting some, and I listened to some of it also.
Yeah.
Pretty informative.
So I don't want to put Rachel on the
That's
spot.
okay, go ahead, my notes are frozen, so
Yeah,
go ahead.
you go ahead and
Oh,
go
okay,
first
so
because that was
I didn't
officially
attend in
your thing.
person.
So
That's
Yeah, so,
Mhm.
and again, I'm trying to pull up my notes and I'm not having a good time with that, so if you wanna just go ahead and
Well,
jump
just
in.
say off your top of your head what it was.
yeah, we can
Just
fill
pull
in.
up the agenda quickly. Didn't seem like there was anything really major, to be honest, and I didn't get to the part of their work session. They had a couple of applications, one being the conversion of residential condominiums or apartments, I guess, converting a commercial building there on 27 UC Street. And again, my computer's frozen, so I'm frozen, but I'm having a tough time with it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank
But I
you.
can send my notes offline to the group after the fact and get you up to speed.
Yeah, so I also reviewed it. So the work sessions were actually really useful, I thought. So the first one, the town planner kind of gave an update on the new housing bill, 802, HB. Anyway.
802.
Yeah, so he gave an update on that, and also what was really interesting, he gave what he thought maybe the town's reaction to the bill could be. So I would say if you're still wondering about that bill, that's a really good section of the meeting to watch because he kind of goes over it and the TPZ asks a lot of questions and he answers them. So it was really useful.
Can I interject something? I had thought that maybe if we can say the minutes of something that seems really important and we can send that to people, if that's a possibility, so that we don't all have to go looking for it, or even just it starts around this minute.
Yeah.
I
If
know.
I could remember.
Or it ends, if you start noticing it, it's important, just look at the time and then we'll at least know that we're nestled into that topic.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's for any of us, and if it doesn't happen,
Mhm.
fine, but just searching for it can be kind of tricky.
But yeah, so I don't, we're kind of going to have a housing discussion later, so maybe I don't need to get too much into the weeds of what they discussed. And then the other major thing is they did discuss updating the POCD, and so they are going to form a separate committee to do recommended updates. So there's two reasons. One is they need to incorporate the new housing bill into the POCD, and then also, they want to, they're open to hearing comments from other commissions, and we'll incorporate those as well. And so they specifically, called out the Conservation Commission as being one of the commissions who will have members on this committee. And so that's kind of, I think they're in the process of reaching out to people now to figure out who's going to be on it. So, so anyway, I think we'll hear more. And then I think those are the two major items that I want to report from that. Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, but I think I started watching about the town planner part, and that I think will be relevant to our housing discussion. Follow up about the town planner. Is there anything we need to follow up about? Put that on the agenda, but.
I don't think so. We should probably, after we have this housing discussion and some output, we should circle back with him and just, discuss kind of where we are and what we came up with.
That's a good idea. CUPOP updates, we've sort of done that, right? DEEP Trails Patches Project, that's an ongoing thing that I think we've been a little busy and haven't done it, but I sent an email to Mike Helfenbein because I think he has a patch that we like. And Kathy has said that she'd distribute them when students or people have done to all 14. I think we should give her a little. Yay, Kathy.
Somebody's gotta have them send it to you. What do you guys, so you guys then tell
And
me,
we
yes.
agree
You know what I'm
that
saying?
that is
I'll
happening.
be the distributor, but not the one to say, oh, yeah, you did it.
Yeah, okay.
Validate
I
it.
don't want that.
When they come to you, you can give, we'll have to talk about how that can work well. Hundreds of people will be coming, so it will be very busy.
Only once, but it's exactly the email thing going, This person's
Right.
validated, this person's
And
validated.
it, like you said, at Earth Day, we should maybe have a,
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
maybe Rachel, you could create a little
Announcement.
poster.
Yeah, when we get to the communications part of the agenda, I can kind of dig
Okay.
into some of the ideas that Ben and I kicked around yesterday.
that's
when we
great.
chatted.
Okay, so, we have $1,800 to spend, and Tony took me aside and said, we want to close this grant out because I'd forgotten that they don't get any of the money back till the grant is done. So I think we quickly need to figure out if there's something we want to spend more money on.
I know that part of it hasn't been expended,
Well, that's what we need to,
and that was in the budget.
you're saying that we still have money left over in the budget?
Now I'm saying that I don't know whether that $1,800 includes expenses that have incurred that haven't been reimbursed.
I don't think so.
I do know one that has.
Oh, you don't? Well, then you should let me know and we should help that be. So maybe it's less than 1,800, but in any case, I think in the next few months, we should, by the end of the fiscal year, he's asked us to finish it. So either we
What's
don't.
the fiscal year?
June, but we have to do it all beforehand because we have to get it to the state before then. So if anyone can think of ways that we can help the public understand the benefit of these trail signs, and we can do that next month, and maybe some of us should brainstorm that and figure that out. Or maybe there's something we could spend money on for Earth Day that would be related to it. So if we can think that would be great too. An independent review of the CCW master plan.
Is there a map? Like a map of the town that has little dots where all the things are?
They,
It's supposed to be, they are supposed to be put on the new printing of the maps that we have out here and in the library, the individual maps. There is no one single map that shows all.
well, there will be, Tim Austin is doing something with that, with geolocation of them.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, they should be on the individual maps.
But there's no
I don't
grand
think
map.
that includes a single map showing all of the
Well,
locations.
that might be something.
It would be a
that
nice
they could-
handout for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
know
that
when-
would make much more sense
When I
if
moved
we want
here,
a patch.
we wanted to, we wished that there was a map of the town and all of the different trail networks.
Trails.
'Cause,
Well,
you
there
know,
actually is one. I
Well-
don't think it's been printed in a usable form. I
Right.
mean, I have in the library, just as you come in the door where I have all the individual maps,
Yeah.
there is one very large one that shows all the trails.
Huh, well,
Um,
maybe we could think about
And
printing something
it's
like that.
possible we could
Maybe
get
that
one of
would be
those
more
made
usable
with the
for it.
QRs on it.
Mike, would you like to
That's foldable.
work on
and
that a little bit?
so-
What would be the next step for that? Talking to Tim?
To talk to Tim and make sure that he isn't going in the same direction.
Right, and then talk to
And then
their printer.
and talk to Scrog. They're the ones that are doing it.
Scrog prints it, okay. Okay, an independent review of the conservation, Country Club of Woodbridge master plan. Is that something you?
Yeah, this is something I've been working on. It's been kind of slow. We're still sort of contacting conservation organizations and that sort of thing. But yeah, so we're in contact with, what is it?
Manutatuck?
Yeah, Manutatuck. I'm probably saying that wrong. Audubon. So they do. They're sort of in charge of 12 different towns in the region, and we're one of them. So that's one of them that we've been in contact with, and then I think we're still trying to reach out to others. But yeah, that's kind of ongoing.
But I think each of the things that establish that it's a unique environment encourages other people to also be interested in determining and supporting us in the benefit of its environmental value.
Yeah, so one really positive thing that came out of this was that the head of this organization, Dennis, he said that he actually read all the reports that were on our website and realized, hey, this is a really important piece of property. So that we worked pretty hard getting all this stuff on the website, and so I think that paid off in that respect.
Right. Okay, so we'll keep everybody abreast of if there's further developments in that.
Yep. Yeah.
Conservation easement of the Woodbridge Country Club property. I don't think we have anything new on that
Yeah.
front, but as we establish that its value, it establishes the importance of that. Should I go on? So there's the Fitzgerald DEEP Core Forest Grant. And this is something that I think could use some people power behind. I just talked to Tim Austin, and I'm trying to understand how the sequence of events. And anyone who understands more than I, feel free to chime in. The Connecticut State Forester has assessed the Fitzgerald property in a sort of a cursory way, but he's established that there's a core forest that is of ecological value. He is not the person who can be the professional forester who creates a plan for things to implement to make the forest healthier and environmentally more resilient. For that, Ann and I went to the Board of Selectmen and said we'd like a grant for $8,000. I don't know how receptive they were to that. They weren't unreceptive, but it's a tight budget year. I also understand that we got a email indicating that there's some very likely grants that could be very helpful for us, and one of them is grant funding to implement resilient forestry practices, and those interested in this grant opportunity are encouraged to respond to this request for information survey. And so if people are interested, I could use some help with some people who'd like to initiate some of that activity. Because once we get the grant to get the assessment of the 10-year plan, then we can ask, then there's scientific basis and money possibly for a further grant that could substantiate doing the things that the professional forester has recommended. Does that make sense? So there's been a cursory plan. The cursory plan gives us some substance to say it's worth doing a professional plan that has to be paid for. We want money for that, either through a grant or from the town. And once we get that and we get a 10-year plan, we'll have an idea of what we might want to seek out for grants to, improve the ecological health of the Fitzgerald property.
I guess I would phrase it differently in that
Okay.
we've got the view of what it is, and that's been described by the free from the state review that's
Right.
been done. And now we need the initial
Granular.
grant or money to pay for a professional to do a management plan.
Right.
So,
Yes.
there's I wouldn't even call it cursory or whatever. It's here's what you need to do. It's the plan. And then after that, future grants potentially to actually do the plan.
Yeah.
And what was the name of the grant that you were talking about? So I've got,
Grant funding to implement resilient forestry practices.
okay, good. That's the same. So David Irvin, maybe this is the one he's sending to people, but yeah, he included me in an email that he
mentioned this grant.
So
I think that's the one to go
thing.
for.
Yeah.
And I think there's a time limitation, and I think we're being encouraged to, and other people in the town are also being informed of it. There's a few of us who went on a walk with Mika and Tim Austin, who does a lot with trails and was the chair of the Conservation Commission before, and Diana and I and Andrea Urbano, to sort of highlight the importance of this and next steps. And so all those people have been emailed about it, but I think we're probably the most likely people to move it forward. And maybe talk to Tony Genovese about whether we can get any town help doing that as well. And I just don't know enough about grants to know.
Yeah. Do you have any idea when this is due?
Is it ongoing?
No, I don't think, well, I don't know.
Is it one of the quarterly ones? Or you apply, there's 4 times a year you can apply?
Oh.
Or maybe
Well,
it's
that would be a
twice
good
year.
thing to know. Are you looking that up if you can, Ben?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
trying to. It doesn't.
Oh, an official request for proposal is anticipated later this spring. Please note, the FRI is not a grant application and does not guarantee funding it. The official request for proposal is anticipated later this spring. So it's a survey of 5 to 10 minutes, except on a first come, first served basis through March 3rd. Yes, so we have to do at least the informational survey by March 3rd.
So is this something we need to talk to Tony about?
Yeah,
Good.
probably. I mean,
You
we
guys
need
had
to
to-
talk to Tony to see if we need to talk to Tony about it, because we don't know.
So
What-
maybe that's the next step,
Yeah,
is talk to Tony
but I
and
think we don't have that much time. Does anyone want
Is
to?
that an annual? Is it on a quarterly, or is that just
an
March
annual,
3rd
I
until?
think.
Oh,
I think it's
Sounds
March
like
3rd.
an
They
annual.
want at least the beginning survey done. That's what this email indicates to me.
Well, do you want to email Tony and just say, can we talk ASAP?
Okay, I will email Tony.
And I'm sorry, what's the name of that grant again?
It's called the Resilient Forestry Grant. Oh, sorry, Resilient Forestry Practices Grant. I can send this to everybody.
That would be great.
But yeah, so think about if anybody wants to try to contribute or even take this on, to take point on this, because it's pretty important, but I think it's going to need some focused attention. And we won't call anybody out right now, but think about it.
Thanks for sending it around so we can take a closer look.
And it can be collaborative too. I don't think any one person has to.
Yeah, it shouldn't
do
be one person, but yeah, there needs to be a couple people who are sort of dedicated to make it happen.
Depends upon how complicated
Right.
the grant application is.
Well, the survey. Should look at the survey. Okay, so that is time related. Ways to communicate more with the Woodbridge public.
Sure. So I sent around, Kathy, is that the printout there in the corner? Yeah, that's around, thanks. Now, this is just like a really early framework of what I think we should do to really make our commission more visible, educate folks about what we do, what our mission is, and thank you for passing it around. So again, don't take this as gospel, just my ideas on a piece of paper. I threw in some opportunities that I think would be a great way to kind of talk about what we do in the community. One being just the Girl Scouts, something small like that could really highlight our commitment to these types of efforts and how we can coordinate. Earth Day, I felt like was a huge success last year with a lot of traffic, a lot of people eager to know more about what we do outside of just the plants. I think that we have a few opportunities there to have some really focused messaging for all of us that will be there. Maybe a one-pager that could be created that kind of highlights all of our goals for this year. I love the idea about some sort of visual that displays the crown jewels of the town. A really nice way to talk about some of the properties that we're going to be hearing a lot about in the coming year and what its fate looks like. Woodbridge Like Me is also really well attended. And really there's so much in here that you can just go through when you have a few minutes and offer feedback. But I think the key thing now that we have a new group, a new year, well, some of us have been here a lot longer, I think it would be good to kick things off with a thought leadership piece, either from Ben and Sharon, or Sharon just you, I don't know, someone pick, more work to add to your plates, but to really talk about us some more. You know, we've got a couple of publications in town that will allow us to do that. We have a website where we can house this type of content. Ben and I have talked with Allison about what the capabilities are with the website, and Kathy is standing by willing to help. So there's some ideas there about making that more robust with resources, maybe including photographs of ourselves and integrating some of the news that we'll produce throughout the year, really mainly around the key events, whether it be trail events, Earth Day, no matter what we do, big or small, like just having that steady cadence of we are the Conservation Commission, we are in the community, here's what we're about, go to our website, come to our meetings, learn more about us. So I'll spare you all me talking all night about this, but again, this document I feel like is a start to kind of talk about what our core messaging should look like, the events that we should really tap into, events that we could create on our own. We could meet on a Saturday morning at the former Woodbridge Country Club parking lot and talk about bats and its importance, and maybe get an expert, and it could be an educational thing similar to what the Ansonia Nature Center does pretty regularly. Are we going to get 100 people there? Probably not. But again, small steps building up to something bigger. I've got some draft quotes in here that you and Ben could potentially use to kind of get a focus on what those thought leadership pieces would look like. along with some sample social media posts around everything from bats to Earth Day and Woodbridge Like Me. So again, take a look. Happy to take on, for the events that we do have, to be on the ground to do photography and to coordinate with Allison, because I don't think we're still in a position to have our own social media handle, but she has offered us, the town's channels to highlight what we've done, similar to the trail project from last fall when we did the ribbon cutting that I wasn't able to go to, but that turned out really nice. So Jen, again, just building the momentum and continuing to do those things. But again, I think the first step, and I'll keep advocating for this, is a nice thought leadership piece in some of the publications so people understand why we're here, what we're doing, and what we're really focused on for the year. And I'm happy to help write it, but I think you're all smarter than me and could probably do a better job than me. But
I think that's a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're working on this, because I feel like communication, to the community is really important, and we haven't been great about it. So, I mean, this is super important. I'm happy to have a thought leadership piece for maybe all of us, I don't know if it needs to be from Sharon and I specifically,
Yeah,
but
I think we should unify us as
yeah,
much as
we can do
possible.
it as a commission. Sure. I would probably feel more comfortable doing that.
okay.
But yeah, I think it's a great idea, just to something about, hey, we're kind of the commission for 2026, and here's what we're trying to do, and here's
Some
why
of
we're
the challenges and some of our goals and our.
Yeah,
And that's a good place to sort of highlight the Crown Jewels concept.
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. And residents are paying attention now, between Beecher and Fountain Street and all of these other ideas, I'll call them. People are paying attention, and I think it's a good time to kind of take advantage of that. And
Well, I have a couple thoughts.
sure.
One is, we're having large groups of people gathering for these things. I don't really want to promote the Conservation Commission, but maybe the Conservation Commission could have something there that would further the public's understanding of the
Explain.
importance of the environment.
Right.
And maybe some quotes or something.
Sure.
Just saying, I know we're preaching to the choir here, but, here's some things to remind other people about.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But also, I've noticed in these meetings, there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of great, intelligent people, but most of them are over 50. And I think we need to integrate the importance of the environment into a younger age group, and I'm not sure how to affect that, but, and I know people who are in that other age group are really busy with many, many, many other things, but they're the ones who are having the kids that are going to be on the planet for many years that they want to make sure is healthy. So I think the investment could be there more for them.
Yeah, I think that's why those educational opportunities will be fun, because it will target that younger crowd, and
That's great.
coordinating with the trail master for those events I think will be huge too. I mean, there's a lot we could do there, and integrating, photography and video, and maybe have a drone fly over Woodbridge Country Club property and kind of
That's
show
cool.
how
It's a great idea.
enormous it is, things like that.
That would be a great thing to put on the town website.
Yeah.
It's a drone little,
Now, who owns a drone? I don't. But I can buy one.
I do,
Get
but
a
it
friend
only
to
goes
fly
up 10
one.
feet and falls down.
I know a few drone photographers that may help.
Okay. Well, I think we should have this as an ongoing thing on our agenda to keep talking about how it evolves, and we should all read this and kind of make notes about things how to refine it.
Yeah, and I think in this quarter, next step is maybe I can draft the thought leadership, and then you can plug in some of the expertise things when it comes to environment. I could do that, and then we can kind of look at where it fits in, whether it's the Woodbridge newsletter, newsletter that goes out, or just putting it on our website as a first step, but then building on that and
I
having
wrote
that.
some of the achievements because it was part of the thing that I needed to do for the finance committee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just about the DEP trail grant and stuff,
Yeah.
and maybe I can forward that to you, that you could integrate
Sure.
things that we have done
And where we're
goals.
going.
I think even there's some goals on there of where we're going. Not that that was just a very brief thing. It definitely could use some work.
A couple of years ago, we had a couple of events. I remember we had the jumping worm and a couple of things we had at the library. can we also do that and have some public things and invite the public that's been doing it?
I think if we have the manpower to do it, I think it would be great. I mean, I think people want to take on a topic and make it happen, that would be, and I think there's topics.
Oh, even about the bats, because that's part of our.
Yeah, it's a great
core.
idea.
And just do something at the library and invite the kids and we're bringing in that social, that demographic group, and I think that we should do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking the children's department of the library are always looking for projects or programs or whatever to do there.
Maybe we can give them a list of things that might be good to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that, when you connect with the person on Bats for Deep, maybe that's the opportunity for her to come in and maybe they have someone that does something,
She actually
virtual.
volunteered to come in and do like a bat building workshop or a presentation or something like that.
Whoa.
And so we were trying to get a time to work, and then anyway, it didn't quite work out. But yeah, so she did agree to that at one point. So I think she's open to it.
So maybe you connect us and then I can maybe work that out logistically and have something, and that could be kind of our,
And you could be
Yeah,
the
that would be great.
liaison to the Girl
to
Scouts
the Girl
too.
Scouts too,
Yeah.
and that could be like
And
our
the Boy
first
Scouts.
Yeah,
step.
that'd
And then
be
there is
fantastic.
in here some like already like early, ideas about promoting that as well and that collaboration, but I think that would be awesome to do. So,
Yeah, that's great.
And number 10, Friends of Conservation Organization. Do you want to talk about that then?
Yeah, so I don't think we have any progress on it. But
No, but I think we should keep amplifying, because I don't think these two know much about it. None of us know much about it. It's an idea in its essence.
Yeah, so I'll also say that I think this is another chunk of work that someone may be interested in taking on, because it's, the idea is to have an organization where people who are interested in conservation in the town, but aren't on this commission, can actually somehow be involved with town-focused conservation. And so we had this idea of like a Friends of organization. And this is also something that kind of directly came out of the Country Club master plan, as they recommended a Friends of organization for the Country Club, and we thought, well, why don't we just make it a Friends of Conservation, a sort of a larger umbrella organization. So that's sort of the idea. I think what needs to happen is we have to like make the organization. I don't know how to do that. Like, start a nonprofit organization and have a board and people to run it, and figure out how it's going to do it. So I think the idea is like we just need to sort of like get it off the ground and then hand it off to hand it off to the people who are going to actually run it.
As a sorry to interrupt you. Maybe as a starting point, we kind of get an email started with some of the former Conservation Commission members. I think there's like 3 or 4 that come to mind that may want to kind of collaborate and do that, and we kind of like feed into them and
Yeah,
support
maybe-
them.
And
Maybe
I have
this
a
is like-
question. Has the Friends of the former country club, however they express it, have they done anything? I know there was a group that was looking to do that very thing. So I didn't know whether that had gone anywhere.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that group. Maybe
Maybe
they
I
want to
can-
become a Friends
I
of
can-
Conservation.
Well, yeah,
Are those
maybe
the
it
folks
wa-
that put a proposal in the early process when the RFPs were coming in for the property? Or isn't that the same organization
No, I don't
that
know.
had the
I
plan
don't.
to
I don't
completely
know.
okay.
But I can ask a few people and see whether
Yeah,
that's
why don't we
going
try to
anyplace.
connect with
It seems
them?
to me we would know about it if it were, but let me call.
And then you've sort of been in contact with all the former commission members, right, Sharon? That might be another group that we,
Yeah.
I mean, we need leadership for this organization, and that that might be a great pool of people to talk
Or
to.
maybe you can have a chance to do that.
Ben, could you articulate for me what the objective of the organization is? Like, I like the idea of bringing together people with common cause, but what's the outcome?
Yeah, it's a good. So I think it's really to build capacity for conservation actions, and I mean, I just like this idea. So, like when there was a government shutdown and all the national parks were closed, there was a Friends of organization of it was Yosemite National Park or something like that, and they're like, we're gonna staff the park. We don't care why it's closed. We're gonna step up. We're gonna staff the park. We're gonna clean the bathrooms. We're gonna help everybody out, and we're just gonna keep this thing running. And so, I would love it if this was sort of the attitude of the of this organization. Let's just we need to clear some invasive species. Let's just do it. And then I sent this article to Sharon a little while back where there were these regional or national conservation groups that decided, okay, there's this big invasive species issue, in this part of town or this, this region. And they sort of like said, okay, we're going to come in and give you guys a bunch of technical help. We're going to, we're going to help show you how to do it, but you have to kind of supply the manpower and the volunteers. And they actually connected with a local organization that was like this, and they had all the people kind of ready to go and organize. So I think that's one of the ideas. But
Yeah, no, I think that is, and I think if we were to have an easement of the Woodbridge Country Club, it needs some tending, and for it to be all on the responsibility of the town will be an impediment for that easement to occur because it will be too much cost. So if we can have people who are interested who could, have 3 days a year that they do invasive species or trail cleaning or, signage changing or fixing benches, it would make it much less effort on the public works, and also it would be people that were known to care about the environment, that then if other issues came up, they might be able to also plug into that.
That's my thought about having a core group of people who are ready, willing, and able to step in about.
And I think it could be a core, and then it could be
Right.
peripheral people who just, it's
Yeah,
part of
just
their
some
awareness, and
organizational
they'll
structure
do
around
an
it.
afternoon a year.
Grows the awareness, right.
And we could have patches for it.
But we're also open to suggestions. So this was
Yeah.
just something that we
I'll look
I
at
came
it.
up with relatively recently. So that's sort of the idea, but it could evolve into something else entirely.
And because also our tenure is normally only 4 years, we can still be part of the.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So it would give us a way to
Yeah,
continue
we're
to contribute.
Trying to make somewhere to go after we're done here.
Right.
We get let out to pasture.
Yeah.
Guarding against retirement.
I think that's a critical thing to have, because I was sitting here thinking, so what does the land trust do? I mean, obviously they acquire land, but what's the difference and what's the mission of that versus the mission of this? But now it seems more clear, so.
Yeah, and my idea is it's kind of more they're focused on town properties, because the land trust is focused on land trust properties,
Right.
and the Parks Association is, focused on their properties. So
And it could be a way of
But land
connecting people,
trust
connecting
also-
and having a social gather. I mean, everyone could meet and
Right.
have a picnic. I mean, it doesn't have to be all work. What did I cut you off?
I just started to say land trust has a lot to do with town properties because they have easements on
Right.
a lot of them, so.
Yeah, there's some overlap. Communication website, I think you kind of covered that already.
My goal for the next meeting is to maybe have an outline of what the website could look like with some of the changes, but it all depends on what we're able to do, not do, so I don't wanna overpromise and underdeliver. So, yeah, just do a little
Just
more
record.
research on what the capabilities within the tool or the environment, and then go from there. But
Okay, great.
yeah, so we'll have to make some decisions about what sort of how we want to organize things. Like what high level categories we want to put and that sort of thing. But
for,
For the website, yeah.
But definitely
Uh-huh.
more images and.
A lot depends on, they have this, like, website builder tool that Allison can use to, but it's somewhat limited. You can't just do anything you want. So a lot depends on what those capabilities are. We met with her and got some idea, but I
That
think
feels
we
like
need
a
to.
million years ago. Though.
Yeah.
I don't remember a single thing from that conversation.
I have a question. You know, photos are always useful. I mean, we should all just think about looking for and ask other people we know who have taken beautiful photos of the area to just make it kind of simple at first, like put up 3 photos and say this is part of our lovely environment and part of the jewels of, you know, the crown jewels of, you know, one from from the different places. So it doesn't, but I don't know the photographic capabilities or anything like that. But
Yeah, I don't know either. There's
Maybe
not
we
a lot
can
of
find out a
photos
little
on
more.
the town website, so I don't know if that's an indication of the capabilities.
Well, if they provide the photo, I'm sure they're fine with posting.
Okay. So should we go to new business? Work session, understand housing and affordable housing, and let's try to bracket our time here. Can we try 25 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds great. So I guess I could kick this one off. So the purpose of this section, we kind of talked about this last time, is we sort of want to be aligned with, you know, where we are in terms of housing. So we kind of were in this position for the last couple of years where we always had to say, not that housing, because it's environmentally disastrous, but we want to kind of be in the position where we can say, this is what we support. And so that's the purpose of this discussion, is to just figure out, you know, what are the good ideas, and I love the idea of coming up with kind of maybe a document or something like that with kind of, you know, specific strategies that we support, but also maybe like higher level ideas for how to have environmentally friendly housing, and then we can, when we meet with Housing Commission, which hopefully we can, and when we meet with TPZ, hopefully we can. Maybe that can be something that we talk about, or at least we give to them and say, like, here's what we think would be environmentally friendly housing. So I know that I gave like a long reading assignment. I don't know how much everybody's got through. I got through the housing, the first housing document, and so maybe, you know, we can sort of, I think we want to talk about not what we don't like, but because I think that'll take us longer than 25 minutes, but let's focus on what we do like. And yeah, I'll just
But
give
can
it
you
to you
also
guys.
give us a really brief, because I think there's some good news in it, of the TPZ planner and what he had to say for the new, because I think the criteria has changed a little bit, right?
Oh, so, yeah, so the 802, HB 802 thing.
Is this something we're handing out? I don't know what this is. Is this your,
No, this looks good though. So who?
your David?
Is that yours, Val?
This was me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not
Oh,
yet.
great.
Val.
I gave 2, I just need 2 of them back.
Here, you can have this one.
Oh, okay, wow.
Thank you, trip down.
Yeah, so maybe that's a better place to start, actually, is the housing law. So I don't know, maybe Val, do you wanna? It sounds like you've prepared.
Well, I was, again, I didn't see a housing meeting, so I wasn't able to include in that. But I had a lot of questions myself, and I was just not getting any answers. So I went through this is the 830G bill. So I'll just read this because I know that this is being broadcast. and I could be mistaken about some of this, because after I wrote this, I did see that Sheila McCraven wrote something
Oh,
in 2025 though, so I don't even know if this is still, but this was very informative. And this kind of counteracts a little bit. So, these are some of my notes.
so Val, is this for only 830G? It's not for affordable housing, it's for,
Well, it's both.
okay.
It's both, because, so, the first thing I'm writing, there are two separate and distinct housing bills. One is the housing plan recently passed by the state legislation. The second is the 830G plan, which was enacted in 1989. The housing plan recently adopted has been modified. From the SCROG presentation, I think the presentator said that it's no longer affordable housing. I believe he said that now they're calling it a housing growth plan. Was anybody else on that? Okay. There are no concrete numbers that I could see for the addition and construction of new housing units under the recently passed housing plan. There are no penalties from the state if a municipality or town does not meet a certain number of affordable housing units under the new housing plan. Does anybody else have any different opinions about that? 'Cause I asked that question with the presenter, are there any
We
penalties?
might have someone in
And
the
there-
audience who knows.
Hmm?
We may have someone in the audience who knows, but I thought that if we don't pass a certain number of, up to 2% now, which I think is the new bill, which I'm not sure about at all, that
That's for a moratorium.
830G can, like they did recently, come in and not have to be, they have more leeway to establish a housing than they would if we had a moratorium.
In terms of the 2%, I saw that under a moratorium, is that what you're referring?
That's what you have to have.
Right, 2%.
To
I have
get
this,
in
I have that in.
moratorium.
Okay,
The goal-
well, why
the goal
you
is
just-
10%, but then at 2%, there's
At
a,
2%, you can get a moratorium.
Yeah.
At 2% or 75, right? That's in my notes, so I'm just.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
why don't you keep going?
there's a point
Under
system.
the 830 housing plan, a developer can appeal a building development denial if the town or municipality does not have 10% deeded affordable housing units or units financed by CHAFA or any combination thereof. Under the 830G, an affordable housing administrator should be employed within the town. Or that's one thing that I kept questioning, how is this gonna be administered? So, under the 830G, you do have to have, someone should be designated and specified as a housing administrator. The affordable, it says that in the 830G. The affordable housing administrator will oversee the units that have been set aside in a development. The affordable housing administrator will calculate the rental applicant's income based on family size. The units in a set-aside development, 15% will be at 80% of the area median income, and then the additional 15% will be at 60%. There will be an affirmative marketing plan to market rental or sales units which have been set aside. A town may receive a moratorium on the 830G if they have equivalent units of 2% of their housing stock added, or 75 units, whichever is more.
So could I ask a question here? So is there, so I know that under the housing growth plan, SCROG is trying to figure out, they're trying to figure out like how many units each region is responsible for, and then they're gonna come up with some way to apportion those units to the different towns. So is that process or law in any way connected to 830G? Or are these completely separate?
I spoke to Brian Duquette from SCROG, and he said someone else called from Woodbridge, so maybe it was you.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Okay, so we all have an assignment, and so that's why I called. And there is this discussion of a majority leadership. They're having some type of roundtable discussion regarding the 830G, because it's not just our town, it's also, he said, Guilford and Madison, they're having issues with inland, wetlands, and about trying to accommodate affordable housing. So there's a lot of other towns besides Woodbridge that's having some issues with it. But then Sheila McCraven, which I don't know if this is adequate or not, but she said it was only 25% that we needed. But I don't, she wrote this in 2025.
25% that we needed of what?
She said we only need 25, but you can.
25 units, you mean?
I copied this, yes, 25% of the, of the total units. Let me see what she said this is HB 5002, created a two-part obligation. Towns would first be required to zone for their full shared number, and then to ensure that at least 25% of that number was produced as actual housing units within 10 years.
But this is a whole different.
Yeah, it seems like a
This is
different set of criteria.
This was written
That-
August 24th, write this down, I don't know
It's
how,
so-
if this
yeah.
is relevant anymore.
It
but
may
she-
not be. I have never even heard
Oh yeah,
of this
because
bill.
the bill was the bill was like
Was it after?
denied, and then a new one came out and it
Right,
passed it.
the new
so-
one came out.
Right.
So this
Yeah.
is, the new one is the one you've been looking at mostly,
Right.
it looks like.
Right.
So do you want to go on?
Yeah, so each town has the right to demand that any new housing development include a portion of set-aside units to count towards the affordability plan. So I did also speak to Christine Sullivan as part of my research, and I did speak about what merit development.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a go now, and there is nothing there for affordable.
Oh,
What is married?
So.
it's a housing
So they
development
didn't
right
require.
by the Merritt Parkway, right behind the
This is the
river
second time
that's
the
by
town
the
has done
Phillips
this.
gas station.
right.
They didn't
Okay.
do it with,
Right, we're supposed to, so I talked to Scrog, and Scrog said that the towns are not asking, they're demanding that they do it. To
Right.
get their, right,
And the towns have the
but
right
we
to
have
demand.
not done it.
right.
And
Yeah,
we
so-
didn't do it with,
Yeah, the senior housing on Bradley, the over 55 housing.
Yeah.
But
and
there's
that-
no affordable units in there.
There's no affordable units, but that is below, that would meet CHAFA. Those units were below 600, I think the threshold in New Haven County is 600. Some of them sold for, I looked them up, and I called her up too. So I called up Scrog, I called up Christine Sullivan, and I called up the Toll Brothers.
Wow, you did your homework.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So I wanted to know.
Toll Brothers, at least the development down here, they
Right.
were not required to do any.
Right. No, they weren't required to do it.
And
And why not?
That was before, I think.
quote unquote, we didn't know about it then.
Well, the law's been in effect since 1989, but we
That
didn't.
we,
Right.
that's why I'm saying quote unquote, we did not know about
Probably
it.
could have met our goal by then,
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, they may have counted because,
And Merritt Avenue, why weren't they required
yeah,
to do
Merritt
there?
Avenue.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
Kind of
I guess, I don't know
befuddling.
if that's too late or not, but that would have been a perfect.
Oh, it couldn't have, of course it's too late, it's all been approved.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that we have, there should be somebody that is monitoring that, though. There should be a particular person that is looking at these developments, and, well, we should all be making sure that we can hit those
But
numbers.
housing would be interested in that for sure. Okay, so should we go on?
Now,
In
this is-
order for a unit to be counted towards affordable housing, the unit must have a covenant or be deeded in the land record. So this is not just naturally occurring, low
Right.
or moderate, it has to be in the deeds.
Can you tell
The
me what
amount
a
of time
covenant
for-
is? What is a
Hmm?
covenant? Is it like a deed,
It's
is
like,
it
yeah,
something
like an
different?
encumbrance.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought so, but is it different? Is it written differently?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm not sure. The amount of time for a deeded unit is 40 years.
So I do have an update on
Yeah.
that, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So this was, the town planner talked about this at the TPZ meeting. So it was nice because he kind of came up with some different, strategies for how we can meet our affordable housing obligations, and he led with ADUs. And one of the things he said was like, there's a lot of ADUs out there, and, you know, we should really inventory them and
That's
you know,
exactly what we think.
incentivize people. But the interesting update is that the new bill says that an ADU only has to be a 10-year deed. And so he said that,
An ADU, but other things have to be 40s.
I'm not sure about the other ones,
But
but.
that makes it much, I would think, at least somewhat more
Oh,
interesting.
yes, yeah, they would be fine for the ADUs. I was hoping it was for everything.
I have a question about those ADUs though. Is it deed restricted from the beginning of the deed for 10 years, or every year is it worked down?
I have that in the back a little bit about accessory buildings.
Oh,
okay,
Great,
okay,
I did ask
all right.
about
Okay.
that. CHAFA is providing lending options at 1 to 3% for affordable housing developments or developments that include set-aside housing. That's where a lot of developments are coming in. Developers are getting very, very low interest rate loans. I made some, okay, so the Department of Housing has a tally of homes purchased with CHAFA financing in each county municipality. These units are counted towards the affordability number. I did call DOH, Department of Housing. I was not able to connect with them about how many exactly, because I called CHAFA up, and CHAFA directed me to DOH, Department of Housing, to find out how many CHAFA houses that were financed in Woodbridge, because that would count. I spoke to a CHAFA representative regarding insurance, and they emailed the insurance requirements for a housing development. And under the housing affordability plan, total housing income should not exceed 30% of the renter's monthly income. So the 80% AMI and 60% are the target. You can't go over. But after that, you look at their income, and it can't be more than 30% of their income, the rent. So that can be extremely low in some cases. Now, under accessory dwelling unit.
Can I just, so it's not 60% of 100%, it's,
No, it's 60%, it's 80, so 15% should be under the 80%. I think 15%, according to the 830G, should be 60%. And then from there, that means you can't exceed those from the average area median income. And then you still take their income. So if their income is 36,000, or say 48,000. 48,000 divided by 12 is 4,000 a month times 0.30. So then their monthly rent would be $1,200. That's how they're doing it. It's not 80%, and you do that calculation.
so when you're trying, as a owner of an apartment, wouldn't you try to find people who have a higher income so that the percentage they actually pay you are higher? It would be hard to not to.
Well, no, but these are set-aside developments, so the whole idea is to get affordable housing. So they're going to adjust the market rates, and somehow they're going to they may be paying more to compensate for the people that are paying what they can pay.
But what I'm saying is, if you have Jim and Joe, and Jim's family makes 50,000 and Joe's family makes 20,000, so their 30% would be a lot less. Wouldn't the person who wants to rent try to rent to the people who are at least making somewhat more money? I mean, I just understand how it would be, how to do it fairly would be very tricky.
Well, I did a whole, at the last page, the comparison of affordable housing and what's currently Section 8 in REC. So
Okay, well,
so the accessory, so I did call up Christine, I think her name was Christine Sullivan, and at this time, Woodbridge has 5 approved accessory dwelling units. They have 5.
That are deed limited.
That are,
Limited,
I
right.
think, that 16, I didn't ask if they were deed restrictive, but she said we have 5 permitted.
Yeah, they're probably not deed restricted.
Right, probably they're not. And then if a resident has an unapproved accessory dwelling unit, they must request a variance. The zoning board of appeals, they're the ones that will grant that variance. And an unapproved accessory dwelling unit must meet the required amenities such as firewalls between the ceilings and the walls. So you have to have a firewall, so you have to have it have to be constructed a certain way in order to have an accessory dwelling unit.
Between one unit and the other?
Yeah.
Or how about if it's a separate building?
No.
Okay.
No, probably not. No, when you're in the same building. And then also, I forgot, there was also something about converting your house to a two-family. And your unit has to be 1,000 square feet or less for an accessory dwelling unit. And then Christine shared with me, I asked her, how many people are in the fire department? She said 53 volunteer firemen. But that was my question, how can we, construct all these four-story buildings without a adequate fire department and endure it? So there are 53 people. Most towns under 10,000 population have volunteer firemen. We're not the only ones. I think that's the norm. Any town that has under 10,000, they do have volunteer firemen. And as long as the firemen have undergone some sort of certification, it's not relevant if they're paid or not. So that was one of my questions. And then again, I spoke to Mr. Duquette at SCROG. There was something called the Majority Roundtable. And so he will give me more information about that. And then I took a little comparison with my graph with looking at what is Section 8, which we currently have in RAP. And this is the affordable housing that they're proposing. It's the same. You'll see that both have the 80% AMI, the 60%. Rent cannot exceed 30%. Under Section 8, they have vouchers. And under the affordable housing, you may not have a voucher.
So that's really the only distinction?
These are.
But they're mostly the same aside from the vouchers?
Right, it is. It's very, very, very similar. The rents must be within guidelines. So with Section 8 in New Haven, the rent can be, let's say the rent is $1,700. They will calculate the tenant's portion of that $1,700. Let's say they're coming in at $600, and then Section 8 will pay the rest. With the affordable housing plan, I'm not sure how they're doing that, or they just come in at 30%, and the developer has to adjust. I'm not sure if they're going to use vouchers as well, or if the developer is just adjusting the other rents to compensate because they've already gotten a low interest loan from Jaffa. So I don't know. Right. So I just made a comparison between the two, so you can. So these were questions that I had in my mind, how this is going to be executed and implemented, and and also with the insurance, I had questions about that, so I kind of answered my own questions.
It's helpful.
Yeah, this is a
Wow.
fantastic amount of research.
Can we recognize
Yes.
David Lobar?
Oh.
This is a gentleman who's on the housing committee that is newly forming, that we've spoken to recently.
So, one of the concepts of the 830G is to get around the problem with the rent is to allow higher density, which makes it cheaper to build the whole building. So that's the way they get around it.
Right, but if they have 30% are low income, that's going to be a big. They have to really overcompensate if people are coming in with very low incomes. Or at SCROG, they said some have no incomes.
Right.
No.
But they're basing this not on the lowest income. They're basing this on the mean area income, taking a percentage of that. And when you look at that 60% number, and that's a reasonable number. I think don't quote me on this, but the rents are something like $1,200 and $1,600 a month, up to about $2,200 for a 3-bedroom apartment. So the thinking is if you have enough units and you can increase the price of the market rate units a little bit, and you multiply it by the number of units you have, you can get enough to compensate for that 30%.
So it seems like what I'm hearing is that for new development to kind of move the needle on the affordable housing? You know, going back to Ben's point of like, where do we fit into this conversation, and how can we help move it forward? That the new developments to fit into the affordable housing, from what you just described, have to be higher density, so that we're not going to be getting any new developments that move the needle that aren't high density housing. Is that
No, not necessarily.
okay?
No. Because you can have multifamily housing. It doesn't have to be, 100 units. You can have a duplex, you can have a triplex, you can have a row of townhouses.
Right.
And, this number, the 60% number is actually a doable number. We're not talking about the people who make $20,000 and, then need Section 8 vouchers to live anywhere. That's not what, my understanding is that's not what they're talking about with affordable
No,
housing.
but that number is, you can't go past that number. What I'm saying is, and that's where they're like, that's why I kind of did my own. You can't go past 80%. 15% is at 80%. You cannot go past it. You can't go past 60%. But when the actual person comes in, it's not 60%. It's whatever their income is. And that's the difference. So the income, if the income is 48,000, it's 30%
Right.
of 48,000.
Correct.
It's their portion of it. So it's not the 60%, and I think that's where a lot of people are thinking it's 60%. It's not. It's, you can't exceed that. But but their portion is only 30% of their income. That is what the guidelines, the HUD guidelines are. It's just 30%. So whatever that income is, it's 30% of it. And that's how it is in New Haven. That's how that is the
But
way
there's
it's
a
done.
difference between affordable and low income.
No, this is, it's in the 830J, I read it again. It's not 60 or 80, they want you to get that population that is 60% and below. 15% there and 15% at 80, but it goes by their actual income, and I think that's where people are thinking 60% of the AMI.
So that would be
It's
good
not.
to clarify, and I think that would be good for housing to clarify and the Board of Selectmen.
Well, it's in the 830G is right here, I read it, and then because I understand, because we've
Right.
had Section 8, and, we've done that, and we're landlords, so we know how it works, and it's not 60%, it's based on their actual income.
That's the new 830G,
Yes.
and the date of
That
that.
came out in 1989, yeah.
That's 1989?
That's
Yeah,
the
I have,
that
like, I
830G
downloaded it because,
That's when it
so
came out.
basically, because we have, when we look at their applications, and there is I forgot to tell you, there is a, inspection too. There's an inspection,
Right.
you ask them what their income is, they'll do the calculation.
Right.
The housing authority will do it, but it's not at 60%. It's whatever their income is. So if they have no income, they pay nothing. If somebody is ill or they don't pay anything. If their income is, whatever their income is, it's 30% of that.
And that's
It's not 60%.
That's the current bill.
Yeah, that's how it always has gone, yeah.
So on the question of density, I think that does bring up an important point because, I think what Dave was saying in terms of like you can have a bunch of townhouses, but a lot of times all those townhouses would have to be deed restricted or in some way, which I think is, that gets us to our goals faster. And I actually have some concerns about trying to get there through, I think it's called inclusionary zoning, which is basically like, you build 100 units and 10 of them have to be affordable, right? So that's kind of like what happened in Fountain Street. So, I mean, if you just sort of like run some very simple numbers, I've heard multiple times that we need approximately 40 units to get to 2%, right? So, and we're about at 1%, these are very ballpark, but we're about 1% now, so 40 units is 1%. So if Fountain Street is 10 units, we need 4 Fountain Streets just to get a moratorium to 2%. To get to 10%, we need to build 36 Fountain Streets in town. So, you know, it's hard to imagine that being done in an environmentally friendly way. So, you know,
Right.
That's the understatement.
Because for every apartment building, if only 10% is affordable, then we have
Or
moved
some.
nowhere.
yeah, and this actually,
Essentially, you're getting
well,
nowhere.
it does increase our percentage if we're below 10%, but
Right.
you know, that 36 number is not even counting the denominator, which is also increasing. So, you know, it's probably more than 36 of them. So, so I think it's useful to have that rule, but I don't think we're ever going to get realistically to our number through that. Maybe my numbers are wrong, so,
Your numbers are incorrect.
okay,
The best
good.
way to put it.
That's very good to hear.
Because the rule is 20%, the TPZ knocked it down for this particular project and allowed them 12%.
But they also said that it was, I mean, the reason the presenter who had this idea at Fountain Street said it is, as a developer, he was not willing or interested unless it was that much. So TPZ was kind of strong-armed, or chose to allow to be strong-armed into going to 12%, and there's no reason that wouldn't be likely to happen again and again, because this guy was really saying, we're not interested.
Well, and that's the point I was gonna make, and sorry to interrupt, but from what Val just uncovered or shared with us, why, if we truly care about affordable housing, why aren't we being more aggressive with the developers and saying we demand more units be set aside for affordable, because that's our goal. So if you wanna build here, you need to up your percentage.
Well, I think
so
the
that we
feeling
can-
is that people haven't been wanting to build here because of that. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, and that's one reason why Fountain Street went through, because people have not wanted to build here.
But
Yeah.
we also haven't been creative about building on top of another building
Right.
or taking,
Mhm.
Yeah,
or
There's lots of
ADUs.
options.
exactly.
I mean, and I think that's what David's saying, is there's other creative ideas that can make it not so that it's 36 huge
Mhm.
buildings that give
Yeah,
us.
because even if it's 20%, it's, you know, 18 of them.
Excuse
Sorry,
me, what
what?
did somebody say about Lucy? I heard somebody, because there is a property on Lucy Street that is being sold right now.
I think
It's a
it was
commercial-
27 Lucy.
It's a commercial, and you could modify some of them for apartments.
I think they mentioned that at TP&Z. They
Yeah,
would
that
Somebody
was-
mentioned,
do
what did you
1/4
say
of
about
them.
it?
Yeah, I think it was on the
Buddy
TPZ agenda.
DeGennaro, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, he came and talked to TPZ about it. It's 4 apartments, and
Yeah.
they did talk about maybe making one of them.
But it was I only heard a little bit, but it was a little soft pedaled in terms of, if this is our real goal and it's TPC's challenge, that it seems like that's really, like you said, we've missed it on merit, and we've missed it on
Mhm.
what, we shouldn't keep missing it.
Well, I'm still gonna call up Shaffa, or when I get speak to DOH about, there might have been some Shaffa units with the 55 and over. Maybe someone
The
financed
Lucy
it with.
Street one?
No, the
I wanna-
55 and over, the new ones that went.
Oh.
Oh, the Tolbrook?
The Tolbrook.
Oh,
The
that would be
really?
interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how many we can get from there.
We're
I think we should
over
just-
our 25 minutes, or just hitting our 25 minutes, so you wanted to come up with a positive thing that what we advocate for.
So
and
maybe I'll throw some things out there.
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
great.
So, so kind of going through this plan just for general ideas, because I think the plan is going to go away, but a lot of the ideas are going to be recycled. When I read this, the question that constantly came to my mind was where, which is really missing from this plan, but is really important from a conservation perspective. Like, a lot of these ideas are like, that would be great in this place, but not so great in this other place. But some of them were totally aligned with what I would say is conservation relevance. So things like trying to maintain the existing developed footprint. So we've talked about that a lot. Build up, not out. And then, concentrating high density development within already developed areas. A bunch of that is in here. And then also I think one point that is useful to make to other committees is that just simply following all the state and federal environmental laws, that's not sufficient to protect open space. Because this is something that I heard comments a lot of, like, okay, well, we followed all the laws, so that means we're conservationists. That's sort of like the bare minimum. And then the other thing that I found really useful at the end was there was a survey with a lot of with the townspeople, and it was pretty interesting. What the townspeople said, because I think what the townspeople said was pretty consistent with what we would say is conservation development, and so I think we should listen to the residents.
Some of those?
I probably should have put this together more in a better way. I kind of start a bunch of things, but.
Well, I noticed that too. And the way it was even constructed didn't really emphasize how much people wanted to preserve open space, because they also validated like no answer, as if it was, it was a little bit skewed.
Yeah.
But maybe we can have people look at that for our next meeting.
So, I don't know if anybody else has stuff to add or throw in.
I just have a question too. Is this Mr.
Lobar.
Yeah.
Lobar. I'm just wondering, has there ever been any talk and consideration for Woodbridge to be its own developer and to erect their own so that they have total control over it?
Not to my knowledge.
Is there a reason for that? Is it too much work? Is it too much money? Is it too much coordination? Do other towns do that? I think other towns have done that.
I'm not sure I understand the question. You're talking about Woodbridge being the agent for their own development?
They're getting the funds themselves, erecting.
Well, they do that in cities.
Yeah, the housing authorities do it, yeah.
Right, but in small towns, I don't know.
So I can say, one of the recent Board of Selectmen meetings, Mika actually said that he's trying to be a deal maker in the flats. He's talking to private landowners and private developers and trying to make something happen down there, which I think is a really positive development. And it does seem like TPZ and the Board of Selectmen, for right now anyway, is pretty focused on trying to get something done in the business district, and they are pro ADU. So to me, these are really positive developments, and I think these are all things that we would support as well.
Does it make sense, Ben and everyone, if we do a cursory beginning and then we can evolve it as we understand it more? These are some things that at first, as our beginning understanding, that we can support, and as, we'll update it as.
Yeah, I can,
'Cause I
I
just
was
think
thinking
we'll
I would
combine.
sort of put everything that I'll try to summarize some stuff and put it into a document, and we can kind of work on it.
Then what was the number, you said we had a hidden number, and then Mr. Lober said that was, so what was the correct number?
For what?
Oh, no, he was saying that the number that I used, the 10% for Fountain Street, isn't representative because it's really 20%.
It should be 20%.
It should be 20%, yeah.
And that was one of the concessions that they got, because they convinced the TPC it was such an expensive piece of land to develop because of all the site work they'd have to do. They couldn't possibly make a profit unless they put up that number of units and limited the number of affordable units.
So what is the number that we should try to achieve to get the moratorium? What was that number?
So my understanding is it's really based on points, which is a little more complicated, but I've often heard the number 40 units, so I think it's somewhere around there.
And I think I saw that we have 36 right now, so that gets us to, I think, 75 is what you did.
1% approximately, so
But
we need another 40 units.
Yeah.
But I thought that, okay, this was another thing I thought that I read, in order to get the, it had to be after, those additional points had to be after 1990? That was something else that I read.
I think
I think those
they
additional
had to be,
points.
I think you wrote it in there,
Is that
something
true?
about.
This is the first I'm hearing.
Yeah, there was something about those equivalent units had to be erected after 1990. But I kept going through, it was a lot. This bill is a lot. So I wasn't sure, so that's why, you know.
So Val, when Ben puts this together, why don't you and he talk to make sure it collaborates with your understanding?
Okay.
Robert?
Okay, yeah, so just,
Didn't, the housing, that's the old one, the new one, talk a lot about trying to get what we term the flats into several units towards the affordable housing.
sorry, what was that? What-
The idea of doing multi-use units down on the, I don't know what else to call it besides the flats, lower part of Woodbridge, to help us in a great sense to get to the number, at least for the moratorium. And I think the housing committee is trying to figure that one out. As you said, Leak is trying to make deals on that, and it seems to me that is something that the commission would be certainly
Yeah, and the EDC
positive
is
towards that.
trying to work on that as well, and I think the
And
TPZ, so I think
we
everybody's.
need to let them know that we agree with that and
Yeah.
would do our part with trying to.
Yeah,
Because I think that's the
agree with you
most
100%.
positive way of creating what we need.
Yeah,
I was looking on the MLS, so I did see Lucy Street, and there was another property, commercial property, and I thought that those were something that, but it's hard because it's privately owned.
Right.
We don't have, like,
Right.
New Haven may have a lot of publicly owned or government owned, we don't have that, everything is privately owned, so how do you approach a homeowner, a seller, how, but they were for sale, two of them are at least for
I mean,
sale right now.
an good example is I call it the Subaru lot, but that's years and years ago, whatever it then became the trailer. The trailer rental place, which is up in Bethany now. That's totally empty
yeah,
now.
that would be a great place for. So that's a good idea, actually. I wonder if it seems like we all agree that the flats is a good place to focus, development. Maybe we just need to communicate that, and instead of.
I think we need to
Yeah.
explain it, that it's because there's transportation, there's food resources, there's disturbed environment already, I
Yeah,
think
from
we
a
should-
conservation
From a
standpoint.
conservation
Yeah.
standpoint,
Yeah.
Maintain the
absolutely.
open spaces.
Yeah, and so would that be something that we would send to the different commissions? So send that to EDC, send it to
Housing,
Board of
send it-
Selectmen, Housing, TPZ, and just
Right.
basically say like, hey, we love what you
Well,
guys are doing, keep
I think we
doing
have to go
it.
to the Board of Selectmen first, don't we? Is there anything, maybe not.
I don't think we have to.
No, we've sent
We
stuff
have
to
first
commissions.
Necessarily? We have to communicate with the Board of Selectmen first?
No, I don't think so,
I
because
don't think we do.
we've sent stuff to commissions
Yeah.
a lot,
Right.
so.
It sounds like this should get incorporated into the POCD, right?
That's actually a very good point.
Which they're putting together a subcommittee to revise that. And so we should just make sure that whoever is on that committee has the input from our commission.
Absolutely.
Because that's the guiding document for development of the town for the next 10 years.
And this is the most urgent aspect of things that could degrade the environment, or most very obvious degradation that could occur to our environment.
So,
How do we convince, I think it's a great idea to do it in that location, but how do we convince a seller to put a deed restriction on their property when it's privately owned. I mean, how do
I
we-
think that's the challenge of the housing committee.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's outside the purview
Yeah.
of this commission.
That's a big-
And hopefully that's,
incentives.
you know,
That's a
something the
big
town is
We've
trying
got
to
enough
figure out.
tough nuts to crack.
It all boils down to money. Excuse me, how much tax abatement the town is willing to do, what kind of percentage loans a builder can get. You know, it depends how you kind of sweeten the pot.
So should we make a vote to have you write this document, and then we'll circulate it and make it another Google Doc, and then we'll try to, in the next few weeks, at least create a draft that we send around? I think that we should send around, I just think that we're learning, and that we can send around something that we think is a good idea, that what we want to give ourselves some leeway to refine it as we learn more.
Yeah, so could I, I'll oversimplify and say, okay, is this sort of where we've landed? One is high-density development should be concentrated in the business district. 2, low-density development, like residential, ideally that's something like ADUs, you know, if we're going to increase density a little bit. But ADUs, you know, outside of the business district. And then, so I think those are the 2 major strategies that we've sort of talked about quite a lot. And then the third one, it's actually in here, but hasn't received as much talk, is, you know, rehabilitating existing buildings or houses, or so that kind of falls under like maintaining the existing developed footprint. So anyway, those would maybe be the kind of 3 very high level organizations around it, and then we can kind of add details. Does that sound reasonable?
I like the idea about tax incentives. What about for ADUs? Maybe that could be a tax incentive.
That could be.
That would
But
be-
the state, excuse me, the state actually has money designated for rehabbing old buildings and repurposing them for apartments. And then the same thing
And those could be
for other private development. So the state wants to get this done. I mean, I think they've got $100 million set aside for this. It's a big number.
Yeah, so that could be another avenue that hasn't received as much discussion.
But we could add that, because I think
Mhm.
we agree that
Mhm.
repurposing the building is a good idea. So,
I don't know, and you know, something to take up with the traffic commission, I think we have one, right, in town. Noise, traffic, quality of life, I think there's a significant issue in town, on the major roadways, we've got 3, right? Now it's starting to spill onto the center road. If you travel in Woodbridge between the hours of 6:30 and 9, on those main roads, it's a nightmare. Traffic is backed up for miles. So if we're gonna keep building up here, that's just gonna make that problem worse, right? But if you can focus your efforts on where there are properties close to the Parkway and to New Haven, I think that's another argument to make, because from what I'm seeing now on my morning commute to Hamden and everywhere else for school drop-off, it's not pleasant for the people that have to make that ride. It's a nightmare.
I don't think that's.
So that could, I know that's not conservation, but traffic, pollution, noise, I think all of that kind of plays a role in what we do.
Unfortunately, a lot of that traffic, people going from south to west and north. I mean,
This is one of the reasons that the state wants to put those developments near transportation hubs.
Yeah, well, that's why to me, Fountain Street or Beecher Road,
Yeah,
those
so there's
don't make sense.
There's public transportation, so it doesn't add to that problem.
Right.
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 Are we saying that Woodbridge has vacant, not just land, but improvements on the land, which are buildings that are empty, that could be converted to affordable housing? We have buildings that are,
Well, you have commercial buildings off of Bradley Road.
Yeah, and that
Some of those units are empty.
but
Those-
who, I thought a private owner owns them.
Right.
That's
Okay,
true.
but
No,
does
I'm
Woodbridge?
talking about commercial buildings.
Right, the commercial, but private owners own them, not
But it
Woodbridge.
can be
Right.
incentivized.
But it's in
Yeah,
Woodbridge. is
right.
what
But no,
I'm
no,
saying.
they're in, but
They're
who,
in-
but a private person owns them,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought, does Woodbridge have any buildings that are?
So,
Just the country club.
Just the country.
That's not
The best-
So that's a nature habitat.
I agree, I think that whole
World's
area near the
largest bat
baseball
house.
fields, that would be a great area, but how do you
They're
incentivize
privately
it?
owned by families that
I
have
was gonna say, my
been
house is
involved for
pretty
many,
bad.
years, and some of them are eyesores now, so that could use a little.
So should
Okay,
we-
so I think
Anyway.
we need to bring this meeting back to
Yeah.
focus here.
So I can try to draft something and
Okay,
we'll do the same process.
so I think can we defer the POCD conversation? Do we have any
I wouldn't
comment?
mind because I didn't read it, so I would.
I didn't
Um,
either.
It sounds like
And it's a shifting target.
we need to do it soon.
It sounds like it's a shifting target also, so
Yeah.
maybe getting clarification,
I think-
TPZ owns it, so getting clarification about what is the process that they're engaged in.
So we're talking to Jeff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So that
'cause-
we can target our contribution.
Yeah, it sounds like they're moving forward with making updates, which is, I think one of the things that we wanted to do was read this and see if there's any updates.
Well, one of the things I
that-
remember from before is that they talk a lot about affordable housing, or housing, and the need for housing and sewer and water, but they don't have any gating, like we need. So the TP&Z developer can use it as a reference point for forever, at least for the next 10 years, given that we need to create, 100 affordable units or something like that, so that they have less leeway to insist that it's within the POCD once we've hit a certain target rate. But I don't think that's refined enough. I think we should make this our study thing for next month.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And I need to be careful, but how much of our feedback that we gave for months on end did actually get
Some of it.
integrated into it?
Well, some of the
Little bit,
work
yeah.
that we did in terms of the goals is all there.
Okay.
But then, a lot of and this is where reading it is kind of interesting, a lot of the housing kind of contradicts it, and so they aren't a very coherent, cohesive document,
Okay.
and it overshadows it to a large degree,
Got it.
rather than accentuates both of them. And I think that our role would be to elevate the conservation aspect of it again, so that it has the strength of what I think
At
the
least
people
take
in
out the
town,
contradictions.
people in town actually certainly again and again said open space,
And you're
And I think that-
referring to the draft document when you say that, or are you talking about the latest
The actual-
document?
The adopted one
The
from
adopted
December.
The adopted one still has those issues?
I
I
should
believe it
look, but I
does.
think it
Should
does,
read it.
yes,
Okay.
yes. I
Bummer.
mean,
I was
I
hopeful.
don't think it is, I haven't seen how modified it has become
Mhm,
from the
okay.
suggestions. But that's why I would like to, before I make official thoughts about it, I'd like to
Okay.
have a chance to.
Yeah, let's
Sharon,
talk about it next time.
Just one last thing, wouldn't it be appropriate to say that if we just had a plan, that we were working on a viable plan, that would maybe stall these other larger developments, if we just are working on something, and I think
Well,
that's what we
that's
have
the
to.
moratorium, isn't it? That we have
Yeah.
to reach
Yes.
2% to get to the moratorium.
You have to get.
We have to have a
another-
plan and we have to have some
Right, we have
success.
to have a-
You have
We have to act on it.
Get another
That's my understanding now.
36 to 40 units.
Yeah.
And we're good, and so the plan is to look at commercial property, so that's what the plan, or that's our plan we just came up with, so. Is that the plan?
It's one of them. It's
Okay.
ADUs.
One of the
it's-
things that TPZ was pretty serious about was trying to inventory, incentivize ADUs. So, that could be a fast way to get some units because they're already built. You just need to find them.
And
make sure they're
incentivize.
permitted
But as-
and
Well,
be
we have to
restricted.
find
Yeah,
them and
exactly, yeah.
not be penalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should have a team of
That's
people that
violating
communicate, and maybe the
insurance, so.
housing committee should have a team of people that are educated about ADUs and go, send a letter saying we understand that this might be a possibility and we want to give you the benefit of understanding fully what it entails. Because unless the people are really communicated with very directly, I don't think that they'll be seeking out this information. So,
Right.
but for example, numerous ones of us here have them, and they just aren't even relevant to the housing stock.
Yeah, there needs to be people going around talking to people
Yeah.
and telling
And
them.
not being shot.
Yeah.
And you have some kind of appeals with some kind of,
Goals.
what do you call it, when you don't get penalized for a certain amount of time?
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have them come forward and.
right. Grace period, or a
Grandfathered in.
amnesty.
Grandfathered in, yes, that would be
That would
nice.
work.
Yeah, that would.
What was it?
Grandfathered in.
Yeah, yeah. So, Anne, should we summarize what we've each?
Here's what I got. Let me know if anything's missing. Drafting a letter to inland wetlands on the 27 Beecher Road impacts.
Ben?
That's me. Yeah.
Then to be shared around and everyone reviews, so all in the end. Following up with Tim Austin about a town map with trails and QR codes. Michael. Anne needs to listen to the last TPZ meeting, because I want to, so I just wrote that down so I'd remember. Comment on what we were just talking about, the POCD, creating a list of the types of development that from a conservation perspective we would want. And then I also listed the three things we mentioned: high density business, low density, for example, ADUs, outside business district, and rehabbing or repurposing existing buildings. For example, the old Subaru, I didn't even know if this is the Subaru place when I got here. Then creating a thought leadership draft, Rachel, and then all of us reading the adopted POCD for the March meeting.
I was gonna do something for Tony.
Yeah,
Oh.
Tony, about the
grant?
resilient forests grant.
And the patches.
And Val and I were working on the patches program.
And there was something with the four of you. What were you?
Oh, and
It was the hikes.
the
for-
hiking, the Earth Day.
For
Earth Day hikes. And
We've got
I'm
a
gonna
bit of a-
talk to the
bit of time
garden
on that
club.
Is
About
Tony
the-
part of the asking about the patches?
No.
That's-
Well, he is, because he was gonna have some ideas of how to spend that money. But we thought that maybe that money could go for Earth Day, right? Patches, Earth Day.
Remember, we're gonna have expense on the patches, so we have to
Yeah.
figure that out before we
Okay.
figure out what's left.
We have to figure out who's gonna make those patches. That's the
Right.
key. Okay,
And then the map or some sort of visual on the crown jewels of the town, how do we want to?
That's-
Okay, then. Or is that separate from the trails?
so who's doing
Yes.
that?
It's separate, yeah, because I was gonna look into getting kind of like a one-pager,
Okay.
you know, to
So
go
the
with this specific.
Yeah, we have
Big jewels that we haven't figured out, is anyone kind of even starting to think about the Friends of Conservation? And there was one other thing that was a big, the forestry.
Oh,
Barbara was gonna
I was gonna
contact.
talk and find out whether the Friends of the former CCW
Okay.
have
Yeah.
gone anyplace,
Mhm.
whether that's
And,
in the
And then
works.
you were gonna kind of talk to the former commissioners about
Uh-huh.
the same question.
right, and, Ann, could you send this out now, and then could you send it out a week before again? Not that we don't notice, but
You can just schedule the send right.
schedule it out, send it out daily, and
And then I was supposed to contact the bat biologist and
And I'll
put them in
coordinate
contact with Rachel and, yeah.
Oh, right.
And we're gonna talk about Kathy, about having a whole staff member that can help us with all this stuff. Oh, and we're gonna, so on the agenda for next time is we're gonna have Rachel
We
again.
can talk more about the website.
And you're gonna
And we can have
maybe
a
do
Girl
a.
Scout update on the next agenda too, the Bat House agenda, event.
And POCD work session. And,
I'm just looking at what we had from the last time. So did a letter go to TPZ telling them that we want to work with them? That was
Oh, we have reached out
Reached
to
out.
Jeff?
the chairs, yeah, so that's kind of in the works.
So that one helped. We did the budget, or you did the budget today.
That's great. I think that's what we should do every time, Ann, is review
Right.
what we
See,
did
make
before.
sure we did.
It feels good that we did some things.
I know, check.
Yeah, first two are checked off.
Speak to Chris Sullivan about ADUs and any regulations, and I think you said you spoke to Chris now?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
We can continue that conversation because it's a
Yeah.
changing,
And then reach out to Housing Commission to
We
offer
did.
to
Wow.
assist and give input on the
We did
plan
that.
for
We had a
affordable
great-
housing.
reach out.
So, which I think we'll just continue to, so that was, and then we had, watching our various commission meetings. So, yeah, we did pretty
Oh, we
good.
did a good job, that's.
Okay, yay. And people are still aware of which meetings they're gonna check out and listen to. Okay, great.
Yeah, so we'll keep our ears open for what is the process for revising the POCD, to make sure that doesn't.
Well,
get by
you're
with
with the TPZ people and the BOS people
Yeah.
are the key people that will know more about that than us.
Yeah, and we could probably just reach out directly
Jeff.
and just, yeah, because we have a couple things to talk
Yeah.
to them about. The other thing, when I was watching TPZ is, like the planner was gonna send them a PowerPoint presentation of his summary of the housing law.
Can we talk, can we,
Yeah, I'm like, well, maybe we can get that as well, so,
can you write him an email?
yeah, so I'll, but yeah, I think they have some materials maybe they could
Yeah.
give to us, so,
Yeah, I mean, the more educated we
Mhm.
are, the better we'll be able to be helpful
yeah.
figuring out this puzzle.
One more question.
Yeah.
And this is Mr. You said that there are state funds for affordable housing. Are they in a grant form that we can apply to? Or is it just Jaffa?
I don't know if they're in grant form. I know the funds are available. I don't know how you get them.
Okay.
That's a good question.
Probably
huh?
Jaffa.
And probably the builder would have to apply for that.
Well, I was thinking about if Woodbridge
Woodbridge
wanted to
funds.
convert some of these existing properties, can they get probably funds from Jaffa? You probably
I
can.
mean, Val, maybe you could make something happen. You're
Yeah.
No, I don't
you know,
mind- I
like
don't mind
you know
doing
how to
that.
do this. You could
Yeah,
bring people together and get.
We're gonna hear the
maybe
last
you'll
word
s-
from
Jaffa.
You'll
the last word
single-handedly
from
save
David
the town.
Lobart.
I was
Oh.
just double checking to make sure that Bradley Road was in Woodbridge, which it is. And I found a commercial property
Yeah,
selling for $250,000.
right.
It's 2,000 square
The
feet.
insurance company? I think it is.
What does it say here?
No, that's
Was that Brenner Insurance?
88 Bradley Road, number 8.
Okay.
They estimate the mortgage will be $1,200 a month. Taxes are $4,000. So, I mean, that's 2,000 square feet. You can make that into 3 apartments, 600 square feet.
So you just rezone it?
Oh,
Yeah, the zoning, this is
The,
what,
the TPZ has already brought that up at their last
Yeah,
meeting.
they
I don't know
did.
if they voted on that, but they brought up
Changing the zoning.
changing the zoning.
For different micro spaces, they're saying.
Yeah,
Well,
they
there's-
basically overlay zones where they could have special zoning, in those areas.
and there's something in the law that the planner talked about this quite a bit, that up to 9 units is going to be by right in any commercial district. So I don't know if that means converting existing buildings or just new development. But yeah, that's sort of a new big thing that was in the bill.
I don't understand what do you mean, that they just can,
They don't have to get special zoning.
Yeah, if a developer comes in and says, I want to build, 1 to 9 units, and it meets the criteria that is currently in the business district, they can just build it. There doesn't even have to be a public hearing. There's no, there's no voting on it. They can just do it. And so the TPZ, what they have to do is, you're allowed to make a new set of standards so that it can look, like a residential, so it's not the standards of your commercial district. It can be a residential standard, but as long as they meet that standard, they get to do it.
So it's a key thing that TPZ makes some good decisions around that standard so that
Mhm.
what gets developed isn't unnecessarily unsightly.
Yep.
or unuseful.
You don't
Does
create
anyone
a
want to
buffer.
adjourn?
And that's as of
Meeting.
July 1st. So
Oh.
so they're going to be scrambling to put those together. But yeah,
Busy
so I
commission.
will make a motion to, oh, do we have to do member comments?
Oh, sure, member comments.
I don't know if there are any, but any member comments?
Well, I had one, but I
Oh,
can keep it.
no, no, no.
No, let's hear it.
No, well, it's not a comment, I just wanted to remind people, I went and found out about people meeting together about commission
Freedom of
business.
Information Act.
FOIA. And I just wanted to remind people that we can, under a majority, can meet together, but that which would be 3 people in this case, 4 people or more probably can meet if they're all of the same, they can caucus if they're of the same party.
So that means that who I'm a Democrat, so for who's what? Or we should let each other know if we're the same party.
Right,
we
and if
wanna meet
you
more.
happen to be unaffiliated, like I am, you can go to the town clerk and you can say, I want to, for these purposes
Caucus.
alone, be of one party or another. And therefore you can,
For a day?
no,
I'm gonna
for
try out
The duration of your time.
Right.
duration of my time.
That purpose, right.
As a commissioner. So I can pick.
Kathy?
Did everyone see the email I sent out today?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
So that is
Yes.
very important, we all attend, because that is what we're going to be trained on.
It's a-
All these questions.
FOIA, yeah.
what we can
When
do.
is it?
It is a
The
commission,
24th.
it's a commission training, they're kind of calling it. The town attorney will be there, they're having someone come in and you're gonna learn about FOIA, you're gonna learn about how, when we start a meeting, if we're waiting for 3 people, how long we give it, all our questions are gonna be answered, and we're all gonna be on the same page. If you cannot attend, it will be recorded, so you can watch it after, on the recording.
And I believe it's a
But they're stressing
requirement
that
of
we
the
all
commission. every
So
member.
what's the date?
February 26th, 6:30.
What day of the week?
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Where is that? Where is the thing? I forgot where it is. Maybe in the like, I don't know where it's everything. Senior CAF, maybe?
It's in the, yes.
Can you send that out in your thing too, so we
Well,
remember?
it's in the
Yeah, I
email she
sent
sent
it.
out.
Yeah.
It's in the
Okay.
email.
All right, thank you.
I just found out about it.
Kathy sent it out earlier today.
Great. Okay, what were you gonna say, Ben?
So, motion to adjourn?
Who's second?
I did.
All in favor? Not I. No, I'm kidding.